Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back playing Maverick as a green-white deck and just doing some practice leagues to see how this deck goes. I really just want to see how the land drops come, just some of the amount of 3-drops in the deck, if that's an issue. This is a pretty nice hand. This looks to be like maybe a Turn on Chalice deck, which does stop the mums, but we do have a Outland Liberator for. Mother of Rune's also not great against the Ancient Tomb decks, but see what happens here. Wasteland would be an interesting draw if my opponent has done nothing here. Other than holding up an old card like Warping Whale, I can't really imagine them doing anything too special here. Green Suns is interesting as it allows us to ramp instead of playing Mum, and I think that's actually the best case. Knight of the Reliquary is probably one of our best draws, so being able to turn that on as of next turn is pretty nice. There is some thought that this could be like a Red Moon Stompy deck, so I think if this doesn't get Warping Whaled, or at least the Green Suns doesn't, I think I will just go for a basic Forest here. Also have access to Endurance during their turn, but I'm going to say that's probably not something that's really needed against an Ancient Tomb deck. But yeah, I've been wanting to try out Green White for a while. I do like the mana base, although we just played a league with the mana base, wasn't that great? A lot of one-landers, a lot of lands, a lot of hands with like no green source, which is pretty tough. But I feel like it's just a case of inconsistency rather than actual deck building. Sai is pretty strong. Sai can go wide. We do have the Outlander, which is a little bit nice, but if they start dropping 0 mana artifacts here, it's going to be pretty tough to keep up with Sai. I'm just going to 6 here as well. This is obviously a matchup where Collector Oof is really nice, so using that green source, Green Sun Zenith early on means we can't just untap in Green Suns for Oof unless we draw one. Savannah. So I can return the Sai. I think that's probably the best play. Return Sai, play Library, and then try to draw into a spell like Swords to Plowshares. I'm going to play Library first, in case they're a Force deck and they don't have like a blue card. But looks like they do. And I was going to say because they don't have a Sai, but it looks like they do have a Sai here. Probably pretty happy to return. They replay it, which kind of time walks them, but then they also get more tokens. So it's a tough one. Getting down Mum isn't that big of a deal. Next turn we can play Mum and hold up Endurance, or hold up Endurance in Caracas. So yeah, I think I am pretty happy just returning this and passing. Which doesn't feel great. This is definitely a matchup where you want something like Plague Engineer or Prismatic Ending in the deck, or Pyroblast. At least this Endurance should hold off the 1/1s for a little while. And the Caracas just returning the Sai will allow us to buy some time. Alright, they see Savannah. Another library. That's pretty interesting as well. But I think here the best play is just to Endurance again. To Caracas again and hold up Endurance. I could play Sylvan Library and Mum, but I think this is okay. It's a bit telling to be holding up 3 mana against this deck, but we do have to keep an eye on our life total with these tokens getting in for 1. Also, they're pretty close to Hardcast Force, which is pretty nice against the Endurance, but I do want to try to steal one of these Thopters. So place high. I'm actually going to Endurance in response to this, in case they draw into Force. Shadow Spear is pretty strong. Especially once like an Urza gets online. But now they're really going to start just going wide and not really caring that they lose sort of 1 token each turn. Yeah. Knight. A little late. I think it's going to be Library, Mum, and hold up Library to just try to find something. Mum gives us the ability to draw into Cradle and do some pretty cool things. Another Endurance is probably what I'm really looking for. Just to slow down this this creep of damage through these tokens. So we're taking 4 here. Map will go and find Urza. If they have another mana. So even Green Sun's here for Collector Oof would be pretty solid. Screws Reclaimer. And neither card doing a whole lot here, so I'm just going to take the land, which also gives us a shuffle, which is pretty nice. I also have the chance for Liberator here, which is good. So I think it's going to be Liberator. Mum, hold up mana for Liberator. I will just fetch now as well. I think I'm okay to not use the Outland Liberator here on the map, because they're probably just going to be getting Saga, which I can hit anyway. But I did want to actually return Sai here. And I think I will, just before they get to cast an artifact of enchantment. Retrofitted Foundry, Thought Monitor. Okay. Well, that's pretty scary. There is a world where maybe Cracking Emery is correct, because there's only so much I can do. With keeping the Emery off. But yeah, second Endurance or Green Suns for Oof is definitely the top cards that I'm looking for. I'm actually going to hit the Saga with the ability to tap for mana on a stack, so they can't actually float anything off it. This means if they want to cast Sai, they have to use their Lotus Petal, which is kind of nice. They're not going to. Interesting. That means we have a pretty easy target with the Caracas, which is nice. Get a free look at the library as well, because we did shuffle. Thalia is not what we want. But Endurance is pretty nice. So we have access to 4 mana. I will return the... I guess I can actually go to my second main and just cast this Endurance now, targeting them. Because then I get more information about, you know, do I have to actually deal with the Emry here or not? They have a force, so now we definitely will return this. Probably could have done that in my first main phase, because then I could have attacked with the Arbor and the 2 mums, most likely. So they pitch the Sai. Wonder if they have another one. This is fine. Got a 3. Okay, we're still in this. I guess Bird is a blocker with... doesn't get pro, but... Ooh, Shadow Spear. Okay. That's pretty nice. Do they have the force for this? They don't. The question is, do I attack or not? Definitely want to return the Emery. It might just be equipped to Dried Arbor. And attack in. If I attack him with the Endurance, I gain 4, go to 7. Which is actually pretty good as well. But then I'm not trading on a Thopter. I think I will equip here. And go up to 5. I don't think there's a world where I put it on the Endurance and then just pass and have the Endurance as a good blocker. I'm not sure if they have a way to like sack an artifact at instant speed. But I think that Shadow Spear might just be the change in sort of the tempo of this game that we really needed. Yeah, nice. Oof, really nice to grind that out. I mean, to keep returning the Sai was not a great feeling, but we did get them to use their mana, to come down on tombs, you know. There's definitely a few things there that were really nice. Alright, pretty happy to drop the mums. They sometimes bring in some sort of bounce effects, or there's a 1 and a blue instant that exiles target creature, and then that creature's controller gets a 4/4. So really good at like hitting Collector Oof or something like that. But I think in this matchup, I just can't really play around that. I'd rather have things like Force of Vigor, Deafening Silence, extra parts. Probably don't need the surgicals. Let's take out... Beast is a little bit slow, but it's definitely interesting. Bog's still nice with Reclaimer. Our own Foundry can come out. Thalia's not doing a whole lot on the draw either. Knight's not doing too much other than finding Karakas, so I could see that potentially coming down. It might even be like second library as well. I think this is okay. Thalia is definitely interesting, but I think the Deafening Silence is just a better kind of fit for that sort of taxing effect, just to really slow them down as much as possible. Because with 2 lands, they can still cast 2 0 mana spells through Thalia and get their Thopters going, but at least Deafening Silence really shuts that down. But this is a tough one. Like maybe Surgical's worth it, especially if with Sai, especially with Emery. Sorry. But the card disadvantage is huge if they don't have the card in hand as well. So that's always something to consider. I'm pretty happy to keep this. We have a turn 1 play in Reclaimer or Path. Double Wasteland's really nice, and then also Green Suns for Oof down the line. Doesn't have Force of Vigor or Deafening Silence, but I think it's still a pretty nice keep. Oof, they could play a 3-drop here. They do, they have Emery. Wow. Force would be a fantastic draw here because it could mean we could Path and also get rid of their mana, but I think here I just want to Wasteland the Urza Saga. Emery can only get back target artifact, which is still pretty good. It means they can like sack pedal, bring it back, sack pedal. But I think just getting rid of this Saga straight up is pretty nice. I don't want them getting those constructs because they get really big really fast. Dried Arbor in the opener also isn't that great, but it is a pretty nice card now to pitch to Force of Vigor if we draw it. You're definitely also giving away information if you just 6 your turn. Another Saga, okay. Shadow Spear is going to be okay. Bauble, 2 cards left. Bauble hits Path. Again, just Wasteland on Saga. They're dirtling a little bit, which is good for us. And also keep them off those 2/2s, or at least the XXs, which would be 4/4s, maybe 5/5s, is pretty good. So 3 Sagas in the bin. There's Sai. That's probably the card that I want to Misty here. I believe this is also cast, so with Sai it's pretty awesome. I guess this is a nice way to also get rid of... I guess it doesn't work on the Collector Oof, so don't listen to me there. That was the card that we really needed, just to allow us to get back into this game a little bit. So let's start with Misty, Savannah, and then just Path. I think I want to do this now. Yeah, I don't want them to be able to like return this to the hand if they really wanted to. They do play Basic Island. And then I'll see, I'm going to give them the time to like put mana into Shadow Spear. But with Emery, they do get to get it back, which is definitely something to consider. This is fine. Honestly, this might be a case of just taking out both Thopters. Which isn't a great trade, but it does slow down their clock a lot. We get to play Reclaim the next turn as a 3/4. But another side's very good. All right, we get a turn. Perfect. Hitting the side there because we can't deal with the 1/1s that are going to keep coming. And we also have Green Suns down the line for Collector Oof, which kind of turns off the Emery to some extent. Just really trying to bully them into using a lot of their cantrips in time with Emery to just get mana onto the field. But getting rid of 2 Sais and 3 Sagas really takes them off a lot of their ways to win, which is nice. And buys us time to, you know, draw into like the next next Green Suns target. Needle's interesting. Probably naming Reclaimer here. Third Sigh. Oof. Alright, land. Beast. Not what I want. And kind of in an awkward spot because I don't want to play the Thalia because it just adds to Green Suns. Could just be a pass here. There's no great attacks either. I guess I could... No. The one damage of like Psy coming in is definitely something to consider. This is fine. Maybe they'll bounce the Elvish Reclaimer here. He's trying to gain some life. Interesting. Here we go. Well, that's not nothing. And I think we might just be working towards... they can also return here. I should have played around that a little bit. It's pretty hard if they're getting to the stage where they're holding up mana with the Spell Bomb, but... yeah. In this case, I am just going to try to ramp into Questing Beast and try to get some damage going. Getting forced is interesting. I also didn't see how different the clocks were. We have nearly double the amount of time our opponent has, so a lot of dirtling if you don't hit your pieces, but obviously Psy here is really strong at closing out the game. And it's a 1/4 as well, it's just really solid. Shadow Spear also going to have a pretty good effect of keeping Questing Beast at a low. Retrofit is very good. It's pretty much like top deck oof or bust. Seeds of Innocence is definitely a card we could play, which is 1 and 2 green, destroy all artifacts. I think target player controls, it could just be all artifacts, and then each player gains life equal to the total amount of converted mana cost of those artifacts destroyed. And they can't be regenerated, which can come up. No attack, interesting. Okay, that's something. Again, no great attacks, unfortunately, because of the Psy. Being a 1/4 is just the worst. They get a 4/4. Nice. Yeah, Psy with Retrofit is just insane. And sadly, we just haven't really got to a point where we could like put a good constraint on how much they could cast each turn. I'm probably pretty happy to double block here. And just get it off the field. It's tough because they keep getting one back, but I think we're just at that stage, unfortunately. At this stage, Thalia isn't doing too much. If anything, it taxes us. They can even sack a Thopter, get a 4/4 block questing beast, so... Definitely wait and see. Getting back Spellbomb's really strong. A little too late, unfortunately. I think we just see like an activation here. And then really just like attack with everything other than Emery. 5, 8, 12. I've been thinking about like Kataki. It's pretty interesting. I'm not going to block. But yeah, maybe be more considerate of the Aether Spellbomb, their own spell. Do I want to side differently? I think on the play I will bring in the Sylvan Library. I think we have other ways to get through things, so I'm going to drop the questing beast just a little bit too big. And then I'm going to go down on a Hierarch for another Thalia. Don't really need to be too explosive here. But a Deafening Silence opener would be really nice. This isn't a Deafening Silence opener, but it is like birds into Green Suns for oof with swords. Opponent goes to 6. Seat Dismember, wow. Very aggressive. Library's pretty nice here, but I'm going to hold up Sword. And then next turn, Green Suns. Turns off the seat, which is pretty huge. If needed, we have endurance as well. And that's oof for you. I mean, oof can just steal wins like that, and it's a big reason why I like Collector Oof in the main deck instead of Gaddock Teeg, which I currently have in the sideboard. So pretty cool. I think I did make some misplays there, of course, with the Aether Spell Bomb and maybe some of my sequencing. And I think I can get a lot tighter with my sideboarding. But as I play these matchups, I'm sure I'll get a better understanding of what doesn't really fit and what do I want access to. So hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to keep doing these because they're pretty fun. And yeah, just get a nice little take on the deck. So if you like this content, definitely consider subscribing, liking, and following me on Twitch at twitch.tv/DukesOnTwitch. Farewell. Hey team, welcome back, and on the play with a hand that happens a lot for a deck that I would say the biggest advantage of is the mana base. Beginner mulligan this, so I can't really cast anything. Well, this sometimes just happens. I'm definitely not keeping this. Aye. Well, we did talk about the mana base, didn't we? Okay, alright. We get to keep 4. Honestly, it might be these 4. And just hope it's a deck that folds to Thalia. I think it's better to just go for Savannah here than like run into a wasteland. Street Wraith, interesting. Delta. I'm thinking straight away Death Shadow, but Doomsday is another deck that does play these sorts of decks. Running Thalia into Daze here is pretty tough. Fetch into Brainstorm is probably the only reason you fetch here. Huh. Force Pitch Daze means they want to play a turn 2 spell. That's very interesting. I don't like attacking in case this is like a Fatal Push kind of deck of Doomsday, or version of Doomsday. Wow. Okay, well, we take those. That's actually going to be it. But that's actually a pretty interesting one because we do have, you know, a few good cards to draw into there. But probably, yeah, I think if our opponent just takes a few turns, they could probably draw into something pretty good, especially being, you know, up 3 cards from the start, down by 1 with the Force. But it looks like they brainstormed into maybe just not finding another land, perhaps. But then I think they would have dazed just to have that land drop the next turn anyway. Interesting spot. We'll take that as a win. Hey team, welcome back. On game 3, and this is a fine start. Turn 1 Mum, turn 2 Thalia or Sylvan Library into Saga is pretty cool, so we're going to keep this. The only thing that would have been nice is a Savannah, so we could go turn 1 Mum and then turn 2 Saga into either Library or Thalia. But Plains Mum most likely puts my opponent thinking we're on Death and Taxes, and even Plains Mum Saga probably keeps my opponent on that, so I don't mind that. I really like playing some amount of mind games, if you want to call them that, against my opponents. And I think making them think you're on a different kind of deck is pretty nice. Especially if we start on this and then draw into like Endurance and it's relevant and we get to like pitch Endurance to Dryad Arbor. That's pretty cool. Mountain 3 mana. Chalice on 1. That's going to be fine. Let's go for Saga here. Saga into Thalia. I kind of want to hide that we're on green so far. And I think with the Thalia in play and the Chalice out, I'm happy to attack you with the Mum. I feel like that's a free attack. Unless they have something like Stomp off Ancient Tomb, we're pretty set. Oh, drew the Shadow Spear. I will show Forest here. And then I'd rather make a dude than play the Shadow Spear or the Library. Just to really keep this consistent pressure going. I guess the Shadow Spear gets countered by the Chalice as well, so definitely take that into consideration. Magus. Well, we will make a dude. Then we lose the Saga. That's fine. Another library. That's not too bad because we're kind of out of gas here. Rabble. Okay. Still fine. They're going to attack with both, which is interesting. Because I can give Mumpro red. So I think what I'll do here is block and block. And then before damage, Mum can be pro red. So I'm kind of trading the construct for the Magus, which is more than fine. I don't really want anything, so I don't want to fetch stuff away. The question is, do I want to keep the canopy? If we can Misty this turn... Yeah. Put on top, but keep this. Play the fetch. I will play a second library. And then pass. You can actually stack libraries as well, so if you have a fetch land, you can look at extra cards in a way. But you do have to pay 4 life to, I believe, even look at them. Yeah, because you... Yes. Yeah. Pretty happy just to block 1 here and not run the Mum into some sort of removal spell. Like second main phase, like Chandra or something, tick down. I will fetch here and probably just get the other basic planes. Forest, sorry. Come on, deck. Ugh, 3 more lands. And no way to shuffle either, which is really brutal. Alright. Put on top, put on top. No. I'm going to play the Dried Arbor out. No, I'm going to play the Windswept out. Just in case there's a world where they do attack with the Magus. And then we get to fetch in end step or upkeep. But yeah, at this stage, I don't want to run either creature into like a Stomp or like in a main deck a Braid or some sort of Planeswalker that removes stuff. So if they just attack with 2 Goblin tokens, I'm pretty happy just to block 1, take 1, not use Mum. Blood Moon. Okay, well, we're definitely not fetching. But this might mean they get more aggressive with everything. They also did this, like, and tapped out for it main phase 1, which is really interesting because now I don't have to play around anything. So I can actually double block here. Alright, do we find gas? We don't. Yikes. I actually am going to pay here just to dig a little bit. Play Arbor and pass. Opponent has 5 mana, which is like Chandra. Khan's pretty good as well. But again, doing it main phase 1 means we can just, you know, block pretty easily here with Thalia. Alright, Sylvan Libraries. Doesn't get much worse, let's be honest. I kind of, again, just have to pay. And then I don't think I can use... Okay, I can. Interesting. But if I want to... Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that's how it worked. Well, then I run into Chalice, of course. Yeah, should definitely think about Chalice there, but not too bad. Like, the birds going to the bins does mean we get to like draw into Scoos and have like a 4/4 Scoos, which is kind of cool. Pretty funny that Library is usually a way out of Mana Flood, but obviously here it hasn't really helped. But again, they've had, you know, Magus and Blood Moons, we can't fetch stuff away. But just funny sometimes how Maverick can work out. And I think these are the games where, you know, you can easily get frustrated, you can easily tilt, but it also gives you chances to just get over it. Like, it's a game. Like, let's be honest here. It's not the worst thing. At least I'm not drawing like all spells and no lands. Yep. Okay. I like the parts, and I like the Force of Vigors, and I like the Gaddock Teeg. We can take out the Endurances. Probably take out the Scavenging Ooze, but sometimes I do like its ability to have a little bit of an effect. I'm going to take out the Bog. It might just be the Ooze. Although Ooze is just like little incremental life gain isn't the worst. We do have Shadow Spear, but definitely an interesting one. I like Thalia, especially on the play. Outland Liberator, Collector Oof is nice at like Mox Opal. Oh, sorry, the Chrome Mox. Might just be Ramanap, but sometimes again, Ramanap get back Dried Arbor or a land is really strong. I think it is just Ramanap here. If we can Wasteland lock our opponent, I think we're just already in a pretty good position. I'd love to play first. Hand's okay. Get to go just like basic forest into birds. Alright, opponent on 7. Basic forest, just really nice here because it turns on Green Suns, it turns on a lot of things. It also means if they enter the bird here, we can untap and play Elvish Reclaimer. I wonder if my opponent plays Fury. I would assume that's in the 75. It's also a card that can actually cast pretty early on as well, thanks to Soul Lands and Chrome Mox. Oh, Mountain Pass, that's fine. I don't want to overextend either. Especially into like a Pyroclasm. I could potentially see a world here. Where we go for like Gaddock Teeg. I don't mind that. This stops someone from doing like Soul Land, Chrome Mox, or Spirit Guide into something. Nothing. Also stops Chalice from coming down, which is pretty cool. Blood Moon's fine. Land. Library. Noble attack for 3. I could have also played the Reclaimer so that I could turn one of these lands into a basic Plains, but I kind of don't want to play it until it's a 3/4. K return's pretty nice. At 19 life, I'm actually just going to pay for all of these. Just to really dig. Oh, Liberator's pretty good. Yeah, I don't mind Liberator. Put on top, pay for this. But there isn't a way to Liberator and Wasteland and Swords. I guess we can also do things at instant speed, which is nice. So here I can use the Wasteland, sack and hit, fetch, make this a 3/4, and then Swords this straight away. Or I can wait, which means that they have some like interaction. Like if they untap and go to combat, and we go, okay, let's activate this and sack this, put that on the stack. They can then respond by like dealing 2 to this with like an Abrade or a Bone Crusher Giant, and we can't actually play around that. So I think I actually, it's tough though, because if they don't have a 5th land or 4th land, then they can't cast a Planeswalker next turn. So I think I actually am happy just to play it a little bit riskier for the stream and see how this goes. But I think just because of how clean it was, that was probably yeah, the choice there was most likely to do it in my turn. Allow them to play a Planeswalker perhaps. then untap and play the knight. But an interesting decision. So this is interesting because now they're actually trying to fight. Do they have something with 1 red for this Reclaimer? That's the big question. No. Interesting. This is more than fine, because now we get a 3/4. And we get to swords this. So this actually worked out really well. Kind of took that bread out of our opponent's hand without even needing it. Oof. Put on top, put on top. Oh my gosh, yeah. Here we get to go Thalia, Cradle, Knight, Wasteland City, attack for 3. Come on now. Come on now. That just worked out like perfectly for us. Really nice turn. And the power Cradle as well. I mean, Cradle really allowed us to play the Knight and also the Wasteland there. Reclaim are really solid in this matchup, especially because it's only sacrifice a land to search for a library for a land card, not like a Plains or a Forest, which is very relevant against Blood Moon and Makers of the Moon. Bridge is pretty good. We really need force for bridge. I don't mind Scavenging Ooze here. Is Scavenging Ooze better than Retrofitter Foundry? That's an interesting one. I think it is. Alright, so let's attack first. And then I think just keep cards in my opponent's hand. We go Scoos, add 4, eat Noble, eat Liberator, eat Bird, eat Teeg, sack Savannah, get a Wasteland, hit Tomb, and try to get in a position where they just have to keep cards in hand. There's a world where I really just needed to grow this to 4. So if they had nothing. Chalice on 0, okay. Really trying to keep their hand down. Force of Vigor is really our only out here. I don't think Green Suns does it. So let's again. What do I want a Green Suns for? I don't think I want a Green Suns for anything. Pretty happy to just hold up Knight. Rebel Master's okay. I do want to shuffle though. I'll get Caracas and draw a card. Swords. Mum's pretty good. But I can't cast it through the chalice, so both of these are dead. I have 2 cards. Do I have enough mana to eat everything and do some tricks with Reclaim here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. Attack with these 2. They have to block something. Alright. Before damage. Sack this. 3, 4. Planes. Nice. Very cool. Annoying, but okay. Maybe I should be getting an exalted creature here. So, sack the planes. Ah, I just totally screwed up what my plan was. But that's okay. Ah, of course. This gets hit by Chalice for 1. That's rough. Yeah, it really changed my plan. Maybe in P and K just has it here. Hazard, rough. Put on top, put on top. Could have attacked with the Reclaimer there as well, to be fair. By eating and then using Knight. But that's okay. We can do that next. This is fine. I do want to shuffle the deck. Just gonna eat the plains now so we can do this again. Just get a fetch land. So they're at 2. Return this. Eat forest. I might as well fetch now. Do I have another green source? Another white source? I don't. Interesting. Attack like this. They have to block these two, so this is a free damage getting through, which is nice. This is fine. Just go and get a Saga. Take care of the dudes. Alright. What do you got? 4 cards in hand. Do they have the answer? Magus is fine. 3 cards in hand. I feel like we're going to another game. Put on top, put on top. I'm not going to show the Force of Vigor just yet. I guess we couldn't because the Cradle's turned off anyway by the Magus. I guess they could have Fury as the drawn card. But then we have the Force the following turn. So it's not too bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then block. Okay. Sideboarding is just going to be the same. I'll be back in 1 second. Back with time to spare. Love to see it. Love to see it. Yeah, we're running this back. Sweet game. Really cool way to win as well. Alright, probably want a force hand or a hand with at least like force, green card, 3 lands, path. Or swords. I'll take either. Also 5 minutes down, so definitely need to win in a pretty quick moment. This hand is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this, especially to have both basics. Ancient Tomb pass. Mum is pretty solid here. I think Mum is better than Green Suns. Just to get it under Chalice. Green Suns, of course, is just better as the game goes longer as well. Khan's going to be pretty good. Hierarch's pretty interesting. I kind of want to play the Savannah here. Okay, other line. With Green Suns for questing Beast next turn by pathing our own Mum. I don't really want to give them the land here. And also don't want to attack with my Mum. I think we can take another turn here. And hold up path for now. Pathing a token just seems so wrong. And attacking with Mum, just not great. Alright, 2 4/4s, you got it. But if they do nothing, then I will path, end step. Okay. Especially now that the Khan is down to 1, I can attack with the Noble Hierarch, which is pretty nice. And then also Green Suns for Collector Oof. This turn's going to work out pretty nicely. We did just give them a red source with Path to Exile, but taking them off both Chromox is really solid. So let's attack first. I guess we just... Oh, it's colorless, isn't it? Yeah. I guess we just give pro red anyway. Just in case. I think taking them off this mana is worth it. They can have the mountain. Actually, they can probably... Yeah, they can have the mountain. I kind of want to use the Saga a little bit. But giving them access to 4 mana is pretty tough as well. Now the Chromoxes aren't really doing much unless they have like the big mana Chandra. Okay. This is an interesting spot. I kind of want to get Questing Beast, so I don't really care about the Khan, but I also like the line of Path Simian Spirit Guide, attack Khan, and then Green Suns for Gaddock Teeg, which turns off any other Planeswalker hitting the field. I don't believe this deck runs any 1-mana spells, so pretty clear there. Alright, Bears. Do your job, please. I feel like they have a card that they can't cast because of Gaddock Teeg. Maybe a Chandra? They're going to play the Chromox, which can't be activated, just to get the construct bigger, I believe. Oh, I guess I can't cast this because of Gaddock Teeg, so let's just create a construct. Nothing great to search for. Probably just a Shadow Spear in case we lose the Collector Oof. Can play Bird. Attack with both of these. Two cards left for my opponent. They could have a Stomp and a Braid. But they don't. Rebel Master's okay. A little bit scary, but not too bad. Wasteland's pretty nice, so you get to take out the Ancient Tomb. But now we're probably just holding back. I could attack with both of these and see how they block. I could attack with just the Teeg and see how they block. 1, 2... I guess Oof is kind of doing the same thing as Teeg. It's keeping them off that mana. So I probably don't mind putting the Oof in front of the Rebel Master here if I can. Block like this. I guess I kind of need the Teeg as well. Maybe it's Teeg in front, and then Oof. Go to 1. See if the Green Suns... If we top deck a land... we can Green Suns for... Yeah, I'm going to block like this. A little bit risky. Ah, they had the Confluence. Rough. Land would put me into 2. Questing Beast. Attack with Collector Oof for 6. Tough. Cool games though. Cool games. We'll see you for the next. Cheers. Hey team, welcome back. You've caught me eating mid-bar, but that's cool. This hand's okay. Turn on Hierarch, turn to Thalia plus Wasteland or Sword. Shadow Spear for some turn 0 shenanigans if needed. Once upon a time, okay. Straight up going to be thinking elves, but could be some sort of depths list. Or Hogaak. Well, having the endurance here is pretty nice. No way the Cabal here. I'm recording. I'm not. What are they going to cast? Come on now. Probably, surely Force of Will. Oh, targeting themselves. Okay. Double Blazing. Nice. So I guess we could hit the Vengevine here if we really wanted to. I don't need to, because we do have the sword. And then we have the Thalia for turn 2 for the Root Wallers anyway, so I'm pretty happy just to let this slide. We're still okay. We're still fine. So we're going to 10 here. Guess we could be getting lower because they can activate a Root Waller. I'd probably rather Sword's a hollow one then. Because then at least the Endurance, if we get there, can block the Vengevine and trade. But now I think we are just dead. Because we can block 1, but then they're just plus and it's 7. So yeah, unfortunately, should have definitely Enduranced. I like Surgical. I like Path. I don't like Beast. I don't like Outland Liberator. Oof is interesting if they are on some sort of altar deck. Thalia can probably be dropped down to 2. Retrofit are probably a little bit slow, but definitely interesting because of the amount of X1s they have, and also just a chump block. It might just be Thalia's down to 1, and Library down to 1. Endurance, I should have definitely Enduranced. A little too slow. Sure. Term on Mum isn't too bad. Hold up Path. I think I'll keep the Dryad Arbor just in case I need the green source. Definitely a tough keep. Opponent goes to 6 as well. Mum can do a lot of work, which is nice. I wonder if they play Burning Inquiry. I assume they do if they're playing Hollow One. Careful study. We know they also play Petal, so this doesn't mean the turn is over. One Vengevine. Caracas. Pretty happy to play Dried Arbor Pass here. I guess there is a case where I'd rather have Caracas in case they are on Hogaak and we discard the Caracas to a Burning Inquiry. I could also wasteland my opponent. They did find a Verdant, so I think I do want to get the Knight down though. So let's go for Caracas. And I don't know what I was talking about with the green source because we have the Savannah, so didn't really need to keep the Dried Arbor, but I think this is going to be okay. If we can get this Knight down, then I'll be pretty happy, especially to have Bog in the deck. Containment Priest. Okay. Priest doesn't do... I guess Priest does turn off Vengevine. I kind of hope they cast a Stitcher Supplier here, so we can respond to the ETB trigger of Stitcher Supplier with Path to Exile, meaning they can't flashback the Therapy with it. Putrid Imp. That's pretty good as well. Oh, do we get to respond to this trigger? I guess then they get to, yeah... This isn't really a win. I was going to say we could path something here, but they're going to be able to flashback with Root Waller anyway. Yeah. I'd rather make them choose between Path or Knight instead of pathing here and then allowing them just to take the Knight because they have full information. Jeez. Yeah, I'll let them choose. They probably take the Knight. I think Mum kind of does the same thing as Path here. Gonna path this now. There is a world where I should path the Putrid Imp because it's kind of the card that I care about, but it's actually a pretty nice draw. Interesting. Okay. Well, they didn't see Surgical, they didn't see Endurance, which is really nice. I am just going to throw this back because I am pretty happy with how the deck is positioned. It's these sort of decks where I do miss Leyline a little bit, but at the same time, it doesn't stop the Lizards and it doesn't stop Hollow One. So Leyline only really stops some of the shenanigans. This is an interesting hand because it really relies on the Endurance. But I feel like Endurance is pretty nice here. Turn 1 Bird. Turn 2 hold up Endurance. It is really just on endurance, but I'm pretty happy to see how that goes. Stitches. Probably only using this endurance if I see like 2 creatures, like 2 Vengevines or Vengevine Hogaak. There's 1 Vengevine. Also wouldn't mind Swords to Plowshares here. See a fetch land. So the fetch land could be Dried Arbor, so I think I will just play Forest into bird. Okay. Oof, Hogaak. Will they try to cast it now or get greedy and cast something else? They fetched. Oof. Pretty happy to hit both of these now, the Hogaak and Vengevine. All right. I think now it's just getting Saga online. I could have played the Canopy to draw a card, but I think with their clock being quite small, I'm happy just to play the Saga out here. No great blocks. Noble. I guess that is a free spell in a way. I get to go Cradle. Kind of scared of everything they could draw, other than like second Hogaak. Looting is not too bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you can tap anything. Okay, I didn't see that coming. That's a bit of a yikes. Um, 3 mana. Make a dude. Hopefully I'm not 1 mana off here. I think I am, unfortunately. No, I get to play a land for turn. So we get to go for Shadow Spear. I think that's the best choice here. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, because we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. We haven't played a land yet. 5 mana. So we get to go Knight and equip Shadow Spear to something. Okay. Land is going to be Wasteland, just to not take a damage here. Wow, they're just going to concede to that. Interesting. Quick look. So we play this as a 3-3. We equip 4-4 lifelink 3-3-3-3. They untap and attack with everything. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17. Yeah, I guess we can like, yeah. It's going to be a tough one from there because then we have Knight for Caracas. Really nice to come back from that because that was a pretty close one. But hey, if you enjoyed this content, consider liking this video and subscribing. And finding me on twitch.tv/Dukes on Twitch. Cheers. Hey team, welcome back. On the play, which is nice. But again, one of these hands where I just can't really cast anything. So we'll mulligan this. Okay. I'm going to bottom a mum. And we have turn 1 bird, which is nice. Try to get some mana going. I don't want to turn 1 Green Suns for Dried Arbor because if we just draw lands, then these Green Suns are going to scale into threats, and we already have a mana producing creature, so Forest Pass is interesting. Savannah's pretty perfect here because now we get to go Green Suns. So my plan was to Green Suns for Scrib Ranger untap, but I think here I actually just want to go for Thalia into Mum. As a double spell. Forest doesn't say much. Usually like elves have a pretty good turn 1 play. It's pretty odd for them not to. Okay, it's gonna be like a veteran explorer kind of deck. Well, at least we have basics to get. Plague Engineer would be pretty brutal. Ugh. That's pretty bad as well. Especially if they have a creature. Okay, lucky. Oh, nothing? Okay. I think we still just get another Reliquary here. Attack for 2. And then pass. I think they're obviously worried about maybe getting rid of this Phyrexian Tower, but they have the Cabal Therapy as a sack outlet as well. This feels like a Green Suns. Yep. All right. We do have some pressure though, which is really nice. There was a world where I was gonna like try to double Green Suns, but I think getting Knight there is okay. Not the cut I want. I'm going to assume my opponent's on Deed as well, so I'm actually going to attack both creatures. And then just take them off the Phyrexian Tower now, because it also takes them off a mana. Oh, I could have gone for Saga, which is pretty interesting as well. I might think about that in my draw step. Something like Pernicious Deed would be pretty bad. Probably just getting Ugin. Yeah. Do have Green Suns for Questing Beast, which would be pretty sweet there. Ah, we're in draw step. My bad. Still gonna flood the board. Hold up Krakus. Not great. Could have returned, but I kind of want to act like I guess I should have returned. There's no real reason not to. Yikes. Okay. I don't mind zones in this matchup. Zone, Surgical's parts. Thalia out, Collector Oof out. Caracas is interesting, but I guess we can sometimes save our own stuff. Teeg's interesting because it stops hardcast Planeswalkers, but I kind of want to stop them before that becomes a thing. Take out a Noble. Take out a Wasteland. I think that's okay. They're kind of ramping us anyway. Okay. This doesn't have an answer to a turn one young veteran, but hopefully sticking the Silver Library will be nice enough. Miriam Skyle, okay. Savannah. Probably happier to play the library here just to try to dig. Does open us up pretty bad to like a Cabal Therapy, but then we can use the library to get back from the Cabal Therapy. Also no basics yet is kind of nice. And the library can stop us from finding basics. Oh, nothing. Gonna really try to dig for that removal spell. But like a deed here would be pretty bad. Makes me okay. It makes me feel a little bit better that they don't have some sort of go wide removal spell like Pernicious Deed or Toxic Deluge. Wow, nothing. Put on top, pay for this. Play Caracas. Play Beast. Now I can either path here or hold up the Questing Beast. I kind of want to path at the end of draw step. In case they play Phyrexian Tower. Nothing. A little sus. A little sus. Still nothing. We do have lethal on the field, which is nice. I guess here they could have Arena Rector into Ugin, but then we have Caracas the Questing Beast into Questing Beast, which is pretty sweet. So we'll see what they go with. Attack them, and then Questing Beast will trigger and kill the Ugin, which is nice. And then just pass. And hope. Sudden Edict is the one card that I just don't want to see. But most other things we're okay with seeing. So the one reason that I like Surgical here, and why my opponent Cabal Therapied Surgical, was because with Arena Rector, when it goes to the graveyard, it triggers, where you can exile it. So in response to the trigger, I can actually exile it myself with Surgical, which means then they can't actually go and get a Planeswalker from its trigger, which is pretty nice. Pretty cool interaction. This is fine, as it can't block... Okay, they're going to get another Planeswalker. Sure. What's it going to be? Because we can protect the Questing Beast. It has haste. Maybe like a Khan doesn't do it? What is it? What is it? Vraska. Sure. Gain a life and draw a card? That doesn't do anything because we have the Shadow Spear as well. Nice. Very cool. I think I will bring in Teeg just because of what just happened a little bit. But that's probably it. I might take out the Liberator. I could also see Mum going potentially because of cards that I assume, like Ugin, like Deed, like Deluge. So I might actually just keep the Liberator in case they have some sort of weird card like Ensnaring Bridge. I don't think it's good enough. I don't think it's good enough. There is a world where the Wastelands do nothing. The library's nice and the Endurance has some play to it, but I think there's a better 6. It's also interesting with Swords to Plowshare's hands, and if my opponent's going to play around them by waiting till turn 2 to Cabal Therapy first and then play Veteran Explorer instead of just running out a Veteran Explorer. This does do things, but... yeah. Is it? Is it good enough? No. No, I think I want to mulligan to one piece of interaction. Okay. Cool. Bottom of bird. I am going to still play the Bog here as well, just as a land drop. So I don't want to fall behind that way. I think I just want to attack this without losing the insect. Guile and Grist is kind of cool. You get to line up how you want to put stuff in the bin. Sadly, Surgical doesn't do anything here. But it does give us mana. I feel like I just have to Surgical this, unfortunately. Liliana Last Hope, Sigarda Host of Herons, Vraska, Ugin, 2 Swords, 2 Path, 1 Deed, 1 Plague, 1 Innocent Blood, 1 Elspeth, Cabal Therapy, 2 Endurance, Assassin's Trophies. Okay. Not a great trade. Attack risk for 3. Wow, they're going to trade that? Sure. One, two, Scrib Ranger. Untap, return. Play this. Play Reclaimer. There is a world where getting rid of this is okay. Because just being able to like sort of ponder every turn in a little way is really strong. To make sure you just don't draw like land. Okay. It's a free block, right? Nice. A little late. I will take out this Guile though, especially seeing one's already in the bin. And now probably just hold up Swords and Reclaimer. Probably just going to get a Canopy to try to draw into some cards. No attacks. Interesting. That's definitely getting closer. Endurance plus Shadow Spear plus Noble Hierarch Exalted is 5. Don't really want any of these, so I'm just going to go no. And I don't want to use the swords just yet either. Path. Interesting, they let it go. Didn't expect that. But here we are. Oh, does this stop? Oh! Oh! It stops permanents your opponent's controller's hexproof and indestructibility. Oh my gosh. I didn't even see it, and I could have swords if I wanted to. Oh my gosh. That's a great way to finish the stream. We went 4-1, which is pretty good. I just wanted to play 5 games and just do a little bit better than we did on stream today. So that feels really good. And to see Shadow Spear come up with that is just hilarious. Let's have a quick look at the deck. Deck tech, cool. So what did I change? I took out the Mind Sensors. I do think there's a world where they're good, but I couldn't find a reason to play them over things like 4th Endurance. 4th Endurance was really nice. I put the Surgicals in the board over the Mindbreak Traps because I think the Surgicals just come in a lot more variations of matchups, which is really nice. I also added the Bajuka Bog to the main deck, which I think is fine. You could have it in the sideboard over the Retrofitter Foundry, but I think it's better than like Soul Guide Lantern or anything like that. I took out one Paradox Zone as well to add in the extra path. Yeah, just some small changes. I think I added in an extra Noble Hierarch as well. Yeah, so getting there. Little changes to just get some more consistency with the deck. You know, the ability to cast turn 2 drops around days or 3 drops is really nice with these mana accelerants. So having the 5 or 6 or 10, 2, 4, 5, 9 ways to you know, get up on mana from as early as turn 1 is really nice. So pretty happy with that. We'll see how it goes down the line, but yeah. For those of you who enjoyed this content, definitely consider subscribing to the channel, following me on Twitch at Doogs on Twitch, liking the video, leaving a comment. I'd love it. Love to hear from you guys. But until then, enjoy your holidays, enjoy your New Year's, and I'll see you in 2022. Cheers.